Hey everyone, this is Brian here at my home studio away from home, F Studios. This video is for the AW crew on Facebook, as well as everybody else who uses the AW4416 and its variants all around the world. All right, so today I'm actually going to talk about the CF card conversion, compact flash card conversion, just a little bit. I won't get into extreme details, but there are some things I want to talk about because it is an old topic. There's been people for a long time now who have been wanting to and trying to convert their AW units to use CF cards for storage as opposed to the old hard drives. And the reasons are, well, there's a myriad of reasons, but for many people, it was about lowering the noise floor of the machine. The AW4416's hard drives, it's made to use drives that were built back in the 90s, early 2000s. And some of those drives, like with my unit here, the original 12 gig drive that came with it, they were pretty loud. Every time the head would move on the discs and stuff, you'd really hear it click, 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 moving around. Later on, when I purchased some 40 gig drives to replace it, those are actually quite a bit quieter. And for me, being that I'm producing loud music and I have a bigger environment to record in, that's not really so bad of a deal. But a lot of people that use these machines, they're in a much more confined space, and noise is more of a problem. Any kind of extraneous outside noise. That being said, a lot of people have been trying to figure out what they could do to kind of get rid of that. And of course, the CF card conversion was a theoretically viable option. Now, I haven't dug into it until recently because I've been just perfectly happy using my 40 gig hard drives. But in the past 10 years or so, actually, well, let's just say since I've had this machine now for almost 23 years. It's going on 23 years next year. I've had two, maybe three, if I remember right, hard drives die on me. And they always die at the most inopportune times when you already have a bunch of stuff that's only partway completed and you're still working on it, and then the shit happens. Shit hits the fan. And of course, more modern technology, there's these ideas that they essentially just last longer. So after I got done with my last project, I decided I was going to try it out. I was going to try the CF card conversion. Because I remember over the years, there were lots of people who had some success, no success, and a few that even reported full successful integration. But unfortunately, there wasn't really anybody out there who could say why one way or the other. Lots of speculation, but nobody had a real clue as to what was really going on. So I started digging into it a bit, looking through some of the posts on the Facebook group, and there was a few things I saw. A few of the posts that said they've actually gone to work. Most of the posts that said they were working all had the same but scenario. They would record playback, do all the things they're supposed to do, but anytime you tried to use the jog and shuttle, it killed the machine. It'd freeze up. Well, for me, that's a no-go, and that's why during the time frame earlier on in my usage of this machine, I was not interested in going to CF card directions. I needed a machine that was fully operational, not something that only half-ass worked. But I got a hold of some of the people, and there was a few people out there who had everything working, including the jog shuttle. And so I was trying to pick the brain as to figure out what it was. And nobody could really answer me. Nobody could really say exactly why it is what it is. I mean, there has to be a reason. essentially, if you just think about it yourself, the bottom line is the card needs to be able to communicate the same way as the old hard drives did back in the 90s and early 2000s, because that's what this machine was built to utilize. That's what this machine was built to, how it was built to talk to all of its internal components. I did an initial test right away just to kind of get an idea of what it is, what's what. And I ended up taking some information from a few people on the forum. One was Andy Williams, and he had a cradle conversion, IDE, CF card to IDE conversion cradle or adapter that I liked really well. It was something that plugged right in to where a 2.5-inch IDE hard drive would go. It was all set up for the screws and everything, and that works for me because I use this unit not just as a standalone desk unit, but I take it wherever with me I want to go and do recordings, or if somebody's asking me to come to their location to do a recording. So I need to make sure everything I have in here is buttoned down and works, or is going to work like it's supposed to. So being the fact that this CF card to IDE adapter was set up to actually match the footprint of a 2.5-inch IDE hard drive, and the screws to mount it were all set up in the same location, use the same screws, everything, that was a plus. That's good to go. So I did that. I bought that. And then another member of the group, Benny Badman, as he goes by on the Facebook group, he claimed that he had his stuff working completely with a CF card setup. And so I asked him what it was. And he's telling me that he was using a SanDisk Extreme. If I remember right, it's the 60 gigabyte per second version, or no, 60 megabyte per second version. And it's what is it, UDMA or UMDA? I can't remember off the top of my head at the moment. But the protocol for how it communicates and how fast it communicates, it was, I think, version 5 or 6. And so I still, at the time, wasn't too up on what all this was. So when I was doing my research, looking around for cards online, I found, Extreme cards that had the kind of the right protocol set information on the image that was displayed on the internet. And so I ended up buying it. And when I got it, I popped it in the AW, and everything seemed to work like it's supposed to. But after a while, then it didn't. And it turned out what it was is I didn't get a SanDisk. Another one that people kept talking about was the Transcend cards. But I thought I was getting a SanDisk, but I just didn't pay too much attention to it. I got a Bidisky disk, which is, or a CF card, I should say, which is just some kind of generic CF card that's sold through outfits like Amazon, eBay, those kind of things. And so the other day I was doing some more testing with this card because it is a 64 gig card, and it did pick up and format in the AW just like you'd expect it to, or it should. So yeah, I checked it out here. I got it, and I started really messing with it. And in the beginning, it seemed like it was going to be fine. But after some time working with it, not so much. I'll give you an idea here. See if I can give you an idea of what's actually going on with this unit. First thing I did is I took one of my old recordings that I did on a hard drive. I think I finished it up in about 2007, all the masters for this recording. So I took the data disc for one of those songs on that recording and uploaded it onto this CF card. And I also uploaded it onto the hard drive. It played back perfectly fine on the hard drive, but on the CF card, it gave me some issues. And we'll see if I could demonstrate that right now. Okay, that's probably enough of that. Now, what is going on there? That's actually not in the tracks themselves. That's not on the data that's in the CF card. That's actually the CF card not being able to keep up with where all the data is stored for this track on the card itself. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if I play it back, it's not going to have those mistakes or those issues all in the exact same place. It's not going to be exactly the same outcome as what you just heard. And if I go in and I actually look at the waveforms and the data for this song, it's fine. There is no issue with it. This is a problem with the CF card and how it's designed. It is not fully compatible with the ATA communications format, the old IDE hard drive format. But it would probably work perfectly fine if you were to use it in the sources that it's supposed to be in, such as a digital camera. It's meant for that. It is not meant for continuous streaming audio, which doesn't really require as much digital information at a time. I think if I looked at it right, if I remember right, at the full audio capability of the AW here at 24-bit 48 kilohertz, it still is it's under 3 megabytes a second that it has to put out for all 16 tracks. Even if you include the stereo track, it's under that to be able to cover that amount of audio data going through. Now, I might be wrong about that, but right now that's my recollection from when I looked at it earlier. So when I had this problem, I decided to do some stress testing. I just ran an oscillator that's built into the machine here, and I recorded it on all 16 tracks, and I did it at every bit depth, which is just the 16 or 24-bit, and I did it at 41 kilohertz and 48 kilohertz. Now this one is set up, this is a 44.1 16-bit, so this is the least amount of data intensive recording that I'm going to have, if that makes sense. There's probably a better way to say it, but I'm sure you guys get the idea. You're starting to hear that pop? That pop is coming up every time the drive is active, feeding data into the machine. Now, what that supposedly means is that the CF card itself is not able to supply the necessary data quickly enough to keep everything buffered properly. And so it has that little bit of a glitch to it. But, if I play it and then use the jog shuttle, all that stuff, I went too far. Apparently I only got an yeah. Those features are all working. Fast forward, rewind, all that stuff. Everything is working like it's supposed to. It's just audio playback, you hear there's a bit of a problem. Nowhere near as extreme as the song that I had loaded from one of my CDRs. But that's because the data on that song is saved around the original drive, all over the drive. It's not all just nice, tightly confined. So it was harder for the CF card in this AW at the moment, this Badisky brand, to be able to go collect it all and put it in the right spaces on the tracks and everything and make it play back properly. Now on a regular hard drive that this machine will work with, didn't have that problem at all. It worked just like it was supposed to. But this CF card, No, those are issues and those are unacceptable. Now, it doesn't mean the CF card is completely bunk. It is a 64 gigabyte card, and it's the max size that this AW4416 can hold for data purposes. So the card itself could still be used for backup purposes. And, we'd use the modern AW Miner software that's been written by Benny Badman to take our data from the drive that's in the machine and transfer it onto the CF card via your computer. And then you'd have something that you could easily put away somewhere as a redundancy backup. You wouldn't have to worry about issues that could arise from CD-ROM or DVD-ROM going bad, the disk going bad, or a hard drive failure where you're storing all the stuff you have. It's just the redundancies of all these different methods of storage. So let's go to my long test, which is a 24-bit 48 kilohertz. I ran this for 10 minutes. Same thing, it's just the 100 hertz oscillator, and I wanted to see how it actually worked with such a long recording process on all 16 tracks. Now I can tell that the drive, by the light here, is being activated or accessed much more often because it's having to transfer data at a faster rate. And at the moment, that scared me. I was going to say at the moment it's okay, but no. That issue you just heard that big that's random. And it will just keep happening every so often with this machine. Let me see, I'll turn this down a little bit more in case that happens again. So far, so good. Let's go ahead and go back to where it happened, which is around the 30-second mark, I think. So I'll bring it up to 25 seconds, and we'll take a listen there. Played perfectly fine. I'll go back to the beginning. So far, so good. We're coming up to 50 seconds. Okay, over a minute, and no problems at this time. So the issues are completely random, which means recording on this thing is probably okay, but it ain't good enough. Because when you play back, you can't guarantee it's going to play back perfectly. And so that's the issue with this particular card. So I did some more research, and let's see if I can pull that up here really quick. I put files up on the Yamaha's, or on the AW4416 Facebook group that talk about this. So we're going to just take a look through here just to see what I can tell you based on what I'm looking at here. All right, so the AW4416 uses IDE controllers that negotiates the PIO, which is the programmed in-out modes. Apparently, from the research, it's modes 3 and 4, and the multi-word DMA, which is the MWDMA modes 1 and 2. Now, this probably doesn't mean anything to most of you, doesn't really mean much to me, but these are the communication protocols that this machine utilizes to talk with the hard drive. Now, if the hard drive or any kind of storage medium in this is not set up to support those modes, then it don't work, and that's what we're dealing with CF cards. So, the proven CF card behavior. The older SanDisk Extreme CF cards, 32 megs or 32 gig to 64 gigs, that run approximately 60 megabytes a second. They are UDMA 4.5 protocol. There's a lot of documentation out there, a lot of people that have shown that they work in the AW4416. And the reason why is those cards from SanDisk were designed to have the proper IDE fallback when they were used in machines that didn't have the more modern communication modes that they were designed for. Generic brands like what I got in here, the Disky, they may advertise 60 megabyte per second write speeds, but they don't actually work that well, as we just saw. Let's see, the modern SanDisk Extreme Pro cards, they advertise burst speeds up to 120 to 160 megabytes per second. Communication mode is the UDMA 7s. And they are video performance guaranteed, VPG cards. They run a sustained 20 megabyte per second write speed for the VPG 20. And if I remember correctly, that'd be the card you'd see that had the little movie clapper that's got the 20 or a 60 next to it, or 65. Because the VPG 65 is a sustained 65 megabytes per second write speed. So theoretically, those cards will far exceed the needs of the AW4416 for reading and writing. So the AW will still be the bottleneck for how fast they operate. But the point being is that theoretically speaking, they are more than fast enough to properly write and get the information back to the AW to operate as the needed hard drive, storage drive. This information is not available just from like a commercial website from where you're buying it. This information has to be looked for in the engineering manuals, and you have to make sure whatever card you're gonna look at, it confirms to what they're calling true IDE compliance. And it supports for PIOs mode 0 to 4 with an MWDMA mode 0 to 2. Now, the firmware in CF cards is generally tuned for DSLR video. And so fragmented audio, like you saw in that song that I tried to play from the CD data that I had, fragmented audio like that can have issues because it's not a linear thing. It's got to jump around. So that's where stress testing comes in, and this Disky card failed the stress test. All right. So engineering specifications from the SanDisk CF card product manual. It has true IDE mode. These CF cards will emulate ATA hard drives. Here we go. These are PATA hard drives. Transfer modes. It's PIO mode 0 to 4. And when you get to the PIO 3 to 4, the cycle times is greater than or equal to 180 nanoseconds and 120 nanoseconds, depending on if it's 3 or 4. And then the same thing with the MWDMA modes 0 to 2 and 1 to 2. The cycle times is greater than 100 or equal to 150 nanoseconds or 120 nanoseconds, depending. And then the UDMA 0 to 7 options those are generally be ignored by these machines because this machine doesn't use that communication protocol or the speeds that it operates at. So the ATA command set, it has full legacy support, identify device, read-write sectors, and flush cache, just like the old hard drives made from the 90s and early 2000s that work in these machines. At least that's what the engineering specs say based on the PDF file that I found online for the SanDisk CF cards. According to the information I found, practical recommendations, the preferred disk will be the SanDisk Extreme CF card, the 60 megabyte per second models, 32 gigabyte to 64 gigabyte, because those have been the most reported to be the ones that work most often. We're going to try the 120 or the 160 megabytes per second, and we're going to see how that works out. Badisky and other generic brands, no good. Unless you can find full diagnostic protocols, you can find full engineering information that says those cards fully support the old IDE format system. Industrial CF cards are a reliable fallback option for the embedded IDE host. You know, probably work with this here. So the AW requires storage device that's going to communicate in PIO 3 or 4 mode, and the MWDMA 1 or 2 support, okay? The SanDisk engineering manual confirms that these modes are implemented in both the Extreme and the Extreme Pro cards. Older cards are the most proven because they were the most often used, and newer ones we should stress test before we actually do anything to see what happens. All right, so that was my first dive into looking at these cards. So a little bit later I did some more work and I got some more information here. Let's see what we can find out. All right, so what to look for? CFA compliance. Again, cards must list support for true IDE modes such as PIO, MWDMA, and UDMA. Controller stability, when you want reliable playback, requires deterministic timing, not just high advertised speed. So it wants to be somewhat predictable, and note that this is how things are going to operate through the whole cycle of the card when it's reading all the song, all the data, blah, blah, blah. You have to have the legacy compatibility. So the cards are designed for embedded industrial systems, are the safest, and they are designed to work with this older style technology and those communication protocols. And the SanDisk Extreme Pro cards have been the most consistently reported as being safe for a recording session on the AW4416. That's all information that was garnered or basically put together through the last 20-some years. Brand reliability, this is putting in like a little chart, a matrix. For the SanDisk Extreme and Extreme Pro, you got recording is reliable, the playback is clean, the jog shuttle is stable, backup use is safe, and these are industry benchmarks proven to work in the AW. The Delkin Industrial CF card, reliable recording, clean playback, stable jog shuttle, backup safe. And it says these are industrial grade and they are deterministic timing. They have deterministic timing. The Swissbit Industrial CF card, reliable recording, clean playback, stable jog shuttle, backup safe, mission critical archive reliability. The Lexar Professional is reliable recording, mostly clean playback, but the jog shuttle is mixed. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But backup usage, safe. Good performance, but it hasn't been tested thoroughly with the AW. Transcend CF cards. They record great, but playback, popping and clicking is possible. Freeze risk with the jog shuttle. Storage backup is risky. It has controller quirks under the jog shuttle, so it's not really going to work out great for the AW. It's going to be one of those things where you're going to have to just take your chances if you want that kind of a card. And depending on which kind you get, what model you get, what type, your mileage may vary. There's also the Kingston CF card, and records fine, playback is mixed results. The jog shuttle is mixed results. Storage capability for backup purposes, that's safe. It's got what they call mid-tier reliability, but I would call not reliable at all, because playback and jog shuttle you can't rely on. And then the budget brands, like what I have in this machine at the moment for testing, and the Badisky card, other cards like that, results vary, and not something you could utilize very well for anything except for maybe backup purposes. They have poor IDE emulation, because that's not what they were really made for. They were made to work in DSLR cameras, not audio recorders, things like that require a different kind of data transfer protocols. So, if that makes sense, if I said that right, hopefully that's understandable. So, ranking everything, the SanDisk is a 10 out of 10, Delkin is a 9, Swissbit's a 9, Lexar is an 8, Transcend, Kingston, they're both a 6, and the budget brands are 3. However, personally, I would say that if you get into the Lexar and below, it's a 0. Don't use them. So, looking at this thing, what were the CF cards that actually have full IDE ATA capability? Well, the Cactus Technologies 503 series. They are CFA ATA compliant. They support all PIO modes, MWDMA mode, and the UMDA or UDMA modes. Let's see, Fortress Industrial CF cards. CFA 6.0 compliant, supports PIO, MWDMA, and UDMA. The Apacer, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, CH710CF. It supports PIO 6, MWDMA 4, and UDMA 6. Now, those modes might actually be a little too high, a little too far advanced for this AW4416. So those are one of those cards where it's like, okay, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. You test it, your mileage may vary. Another one is going to be the same brand, but it's a CF6 series, and it's got pretty much the same specs as far as the modes that it uses for communication and how fast they can communicate. The Delkin Industrial CF card, it's CFA compliant, and it's PIO, MWDMA, and UDMA compliant. And then there's the Swissbit 350 C500, or what is that? Yeah, C500. CFA 4.1 to 6.1 with PIO and with all the PIO, MWDMA, and UDMA compliance. So these are the guys that we look at and see they pretty much are supposed to have full IDE ATA compatibility. So they are the most likely to work with the AW4416. Okay, and then I looked at to see if the adapters, the CF card to IDE adapters, really made any difference here. So looking into it, the adapters really only do pin mapping. They physically reroute the 40 or 44 pin IDE signal from the AW4416 drive bay to the compact flash cards connector. Form factor conversion, they let you use a CF card in place of the 2.5-inch hard drive. Jumper controls, most adapters include a jumper so you can set the CF card as a master or a slave. The AW4416 requires that its drives are all set as master. That's generally how they will come if you buy a hard drive. It doesn't need a jumper or anything to set it up as a master. Now, when I tested some solid state drives in the past, I couldn't get them to work, and it turns out they actually required to have the jumper put on the couple pins to act as a master. Once I connected those two pins via a wire and then plugged everything in, they worked. I'll get to that in a later video. Right now I'm still focusing on CF cards, so that's all we're talking about. Let's see, electrical stability. Well, higher quality adapters may include buffering or clean voltage regulation, which reduces noise and improves reliability. But what do they not do? They don't do anything for the timing of any of the data translations. So they don't slow it down or alter how the IDE bus. There's no protocol conversion. They don't emulate IDE commands. They simply pass the data through. And there's no mode forcing, so they can't make a CF card drop from an Ultra DMA to a PIO DMA setting. That's entirely up to the card's own firmware. So the gatekeeper itself is actually the CF card. It's what determines the compatibility. So it must support true IDE modes and be able to negotiate down to what the AW4416 expects to see under its legacy transfer modes. And we call legacy because they're just old. That's it. The adapter is just a bridge. Its card doesn't support those modes. The adapter won't fix it. All right, so people are asking, what are the usable adapters that will actually work? So the StarTech IDE to CF. It's a 44 pin IDE connector, features DMA PIO jumper selectable. It supports those modes. It doesn't convert, it just supports them. LED indicators. It's widely used in legacy audio gear and reliable build quality. The next one is the SIBA, or whatever it is, dual CF IDE. It's a 44 pin connector, dual CF slots, master and slave jumper, type 1 CF cards. Works with proper CF cards in the master slot, slightly taller form factor. That's okay, the AW has room for it. The DeLoc 91620 CF IDE adapters, 44 pin IDE connector, features CF type 1 and 2 support with jumper selectable. It's a compact design, reliable in embedded systems. There's the Adonix 80 IDE 2 CF, the 44 pin IDE connector. It is actually a hot swappable CF slot, master slave jumper, blah blah blah. So it's got a CF slot, you can select master slave, and it's hot swappable. You can pop in and out and it won't mess anything up, at least as far as what the adapter itself is able to do. I can't say that the AW would actually react well to that regardless, but it's a possibility. You know, you can just pop one out and pop another one in. There's the Saidian, it's SAIDIAN CF to IDE adapter. It's a 40 pin. It features a PCI bracket option and it's jumper selectable. And it's more PC oriented. But from the research, it says, or makes the claim that it is electrically compatible with the AW4416. There's also the Retro Ready CF to IDE adapter, a 40 pin adapter. It features support for true IDE mode, DMA33 support, and it has LED indicators. It's a budget option, so it may require careful fit into the AW's hard drive bay as well. Then there's some generic PCB CF to IDE adapters, 40 to 44 pin. Passive pin mapping, jumper selectable. Works only paired with CF cards that fully support true IDE modes. So they don't actually, the adapters will not change timing. That's up to the CF card itself. According to the research, the StarTech IDE to CFE is the most defensible choice for long-term stability. The Cyber Dual is a strong contender, especially with the right CF card, such as an industrial SanDisk or Transcend. And the generic adapter should only be used for experimentation purposes, not necessarily production work, because there's no guarantee that they're going to be set up the right way to get everything to work right. So anyway, there's a lot more information on this particular file that I could go through, but a lot of it is not necessary to know. Some people have asked, what about the active converters? Well, really, they only do a little bit. They force, say, fixed disk behavior. So if your CF card identifies as a removable media, some gear, including the Yamaha and some rolling units, they expect it to be a fixed disk, not something you can pop in and out. So these true IDE converters intercept the signals and force the CF card to present itself as a fixed IDE drive. So that might be part of the problem that some of those drives have when people are trying to use them and they don't work. The AW says, well, this isn't the right kind of media, and doesn't do anything. The active converters will turn around and tell the AW, no, this is a fixed drive and the AW should operate like it's supposed to. Now, let's see. So they improve recognition, possibly. This will solve boot or detection problems, but it's still passive on timing. It doesn't change how the timing for the data comes through for the machine to read. That's still up to the CF cards. That is basically the issues that we're looking at when it comes to using CF cards. So right now, I actually have a couple different cards to test. You guys saw that the Badisky 64 gig card in this machine doesn't work well enough to be a reliable solution, right? But I picked up for $100 or so a couple actual new cards. I bought a SanDisk Extreme and a SanDisk Extreme Pro. They're both 64 gigabytes. The Extreme will give me speeds up to 120 megabytes per second, and the Extreme Pro will go up to 160. Now, the AW will not utilize these cards in full effectiveness, but I'm hoping that these cards will have all the necessary components within the firmware that these cards will end up, how should I put it? I don't really want to say downgrading, but they will throttle down to the older communication styles, the old communication methods that machines 20 plus years ago were made to work with. So we're going to give that a shot. So here's the adapter. Screws right into the caddy, just like a standard 2.5-inch hard drive. Okay, drive's disconnected from the caddy. Here we go, just leave that alone. The only reason I have to disconnect it is just so I can get the CF card out. All right, so this is the SanDisk Extreme 64 gig, 120 megabyte per second with a 20 megabyte per second continuous write speed, UDMA 7 compliant. And the deal is based on what we've read, what research I found, is that this should be able to throttle down to where it communicates at the much older communication protocol standards, the modes. Let's just see if the AW is going to boot up with this brand new card in it. Power on. Lit up. Says Yamaha AW4416 version 2. That's my upgraded software. Initializing recorder section. Unformatted HDD. Format OK. Question mark. Yes, enter. No, any. Press enter. Formatting HDD. Now this is 64 gig. I have no idea how long this is going to take, but we're going to find out. But see, that was a plus right off the bat. It picked it up as a viable storage medium for the AW4416. So we're off to a good start. Oh, just that quick. It's done. Let's say we just do the big stress test first. I'm going to record 10 minutes of audio of just the sine wave. Went through the shutdown process. Absolutely perfect. I'm going to start it back up now. Initializing recorder. Things look like they're working as normal. Loading song data. Loading song. Holy shit, everything is working so far just like it would if it had a hard drive in it. So, let me go ahead and bring everything up to Unity, or at least close to Unity. I'm not going to get too butthurt about it. Now, this is the 48 kilohertz, 24-bit stress test version. Let's just hit play, see what happens. Plugs. So far, so good. We are up to, I don't know, somewhere around just passing a minute now, and there's no problem with the audio. Fast forward. Speed up the fast forward. Rewind. Play. Jog shuttle. Turn the jog on. So far, so good. Let's just hit the shuttle max speed all the way to the end. Now I am noticing a little bit of issues that don't really matter. When I'm using the jog shuttle or fast forwarding and rewinding, sometimes the immediate number of tracks that respond, well, it just went through the whole 10 minutes there. They don't get shown or played back. But that doesn't matter. Once we go into play mode, everything's there. Also, also, once the thing stabilizes from when we use the jog or the shuttle or fast forward or rewind, everything's there. Okay, again, that's 10 minutes I just went through. Hit play. Picked right up, working like it's supposed to. Let's just see if it keeps going. Now, if I go all the way back to 0, hit play, fast forward, max speed. Will this go through all 10 minutes and be fine? We're up to 8 minutes. Done. Back it up. Rewind. Down to 1.5 minutes. Done. This thing so far is played perfectly. It is recorded perfectly at the highest bit rate and sample rate that the AW4416 is capable of. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken a song of my own. It's called Give It To Me, and I've recorded it off of a live stream from the computer onto the AW4416, and I've recorded it at 24-bit, 48 kilohertz. Let's go ahead and check it out. We've gone over a minute, and we've actually gone maybe about 1 minute and 13 seconds. And so far, everything's perfectly fine with this song as a, just a stereo file. Let's go ahead and do some scrubbing, see what happens, some shuttle, things like that. So far, so good. I mean, it's not screwing anything up. Working great. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save the song. Now we're actually committed to the CF card. And then I'll just play it again. Jumping back and forth. Rewind. Fast forward. Rewind. Fast forward. It's working. Everything is freaking working. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go just make some random marks in this thing. Let's see. And I'm going to cut the audio up, running onto different tracks. Okay, so I've taken this song and I've cut it up into 8, 9 different pieces and arranged them, not in order on the tracks either. I bounced it around to where I've cut all the edits. So I'm going to play it back and we're going to see just what it sounds like, if there's any kind of weird pops, any kind of noises, weird, just any extraneous things like that. Go ahead and check it out. That was the first track, first jump from tracks 1 and 2 to 3 and 4. I don't know, did you hear anything? I didn't hear anything. I'll turn it up a little louder. I did not hear anything. All right, so I'm going to jump to the next section. Now, this is jumping from tracks 3 and 4 to 5 and 6. I'll let you know when the jump occurs. Did you hear anything? I didn't hear anything. So this is going to jump up really quick now. It's going to go from tracks 5 and 6 to 15 and 16. Jog's working, or the shuttle's working. No freeze ups. Let's turn the jog on. Good there. So far, so good. Now we're going to jump from 11 to 12 to 7 and 8. this seems to be working perfectly. I'm going to save this just like it is. We're going to check the data on it. And this is currently taking 171 megabytes. I'm going to go under Song Edit and we're going to optimize. Dropped it down to 83.7 megabytes. Let's go ahead and play it back, see what happens. perfect. Played back perfectly. Even with the audio being split and jumped all around random points of all the tracks. No trouble whatsoever. So far, I'm actually really happy with this. Well, one last thing to try. I want to completely wipe this card out, brand new. So I cannot use this BDisky Extreme Compact Flash 60 megabyte per second, 64 gig hard drive, because it doesn't have all the right protocols. Okay, it finished formatting, it created a new song file, and reset everything back to normal. But I can still most likely use this for data storage. So using a program like AW Miner, I can copy the drive onto the PC, or if you got a Mac, you can do it that way too. And then just put that whole copy, that clone, if you will, right here on this guy. And then if I ever want to upload all that stuff from that clone, I can just put this back on the computer and then upload it directly to the storage drive for the AW4416. So this one worked out great. This is the SanDisk Extreme 120 megabytes per second CF card, 64 gig. I'm going to shut the AW down, and just for shits and giggles, I'm going to quickly try this other one, this SanDisk Extreme Pro 64 gig, which has got burst speeds up to 160 megabytes per second, and it will maintain write speeds at 65 megabytes per second. Now again, the AW does not utilize information that quickly, so hopefully this will throttle down to the correct speeds for the AW. See what happens. Power on. Yamaha AW4416, a TAPI CDRW supported version 2. Now the reason why this one is a TAPI CDRW supported is because I've uploaded the most recent, the latest operating system, and that was to upgrade the machines to be able to operate with AT-API, a TAPI CDRWs instead of SCSI. This unit is actually a SCSI unit. It's an old unit. Okay, unformatted hard drive. Format, okay. Enter for yes. Formatting HDD, okay. That's a good sign. We are started up normally. 44.1 kilohertz, 16-bit. Okay, I'm going to create a new song. We're just going to do a quick test on this one. I'm not going to go through all the other bullshit with the stress test with the sine waves. We're going to push it back up to a 24-bit at 48 kilohertz. Highest transfer rates. Yes, indeed. Okay. And okay. Create this new song. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another song and I'm going to dump it onto all 16 tracks on the AW here and just fill it up. Okay, so I've just recorded a new song. It's one I've been working on the DAW for a while, but I hadn't finished it. And I've recorded it on all 16 tracks. And now I'm interested in just hearing what is this thing going to sound like. So let's go ahead and play this thing back, okay? So far, so good. Been a minute. All the features are working. Let's back it up, start from the beginning. I'm going to just, let's see, do I got a good solo function? Is it set up right at the moment? Okay, so if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just going through the solo function. It's currently set up that if I choose a channel, the other channel disappears. It doesn't keep building up. So, flow through. Everything's working. Of course, it's in mono. It's not set up for the mix yet. Now, I wonder, though, can I get it? I wonder if I can just set up the solo feature to play the mix as opposed to everything being dead mono, but still operate like it's operating. It's been a while since I messed with this, so I don't even remember where to look. Give me a second here. Let's see. Change tab. There's the solo setup. Okay. Recording solo. Let's say after pan. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's in stereo and it just worked on the selected track. Jumping around by itself. Okay, there we go. No problems with jumping around through the channels. You probably wouldn't expect that, though, to be a problem because that's not handled by anything that's on the hard drive. But what I'm seeing is that I'm not getting an issue with any of the channels and how the audio is playing back on them. And at the moment, I'm going to say that this is a successful test. I don't really feel I need to have to go through all of the other little tests I did on the previous CF card to say that this CF card is going to work. Yeah, I don't know. It's all working. The shuttle is working. It's not causing any glitches. We went up to nearly 6 minutes, 50 seconds there. All good. I can go all the way back. I can jump to the end, roll back a few. It works. This is another SanDisk card. It's the Extreme Pro. It's a little bit faster than the one we were experimenting with before. It's a 64 gigabyte card, and it still will go all the way down to the old school communication standards that the AW4416 used, as it was designed for back in the late 90s when they were building this thing. They released it in the early 2000s, so it was being designed for stuff that was already around at the time in the late 90s, maybe even older than that, and then continue to work through in the early 2000s. So I say that's a success. And it says from the information that I did find online and that I put together and set up on the files menu on the AW4416 Facebook group, that the certain cards, such as SanDisk, the Extremes, the Extreme Pros, the industrial level cards, with Transcend and a few of those others, all those cards I listed as being fully true IDE ATA compliant cards will work properly, fully functional in the AW4416, and quite possibly its siblings that came afterwards. The generic cards like this Badisky, they do not work, but you can't take that for granted on all of them. You're gonna have to look and find information that says whether or not they are fully, truly, 100% IDE compatible and ATA compliant, and that they will completely emulate those modes from those old systems 100%, just like the SanDisk cards do. Otherwise, you're going to run into issues like I showed you with this Badisky card, where the audio is not going to come through like it's supposed to come through. Even if all the functions work on the machine, such as the jog, the shuttle, the fast forward, the rewind, formatting the card, all that stuff, even if all that works, generic cards like this cannot be trusted to properly deliver the audio as necessary. But so far, from these tests, both these SanDisk cards work 100%. I hope that keeps up in the future. I'm actually going to just utilize this card from now on for a while. I'm going to put these other cards away, and I think I'll just use it until it's used up. And if it ever fails on me, it fails, but hopefully it won't. Not for a very long time. All right, so this is Brian at F Studios. This video is for the AW crew, not just on Facebook, but all around the world. I hope you guys found this information helpful, and I'll talk to you later. Maybe next time around, I'll do another test with solid state drives that I got. And then I do also want to get to where I do just some basic AW for dummy videos to get people who seemingly are still not really certain on how to use this 23-year-old machine. Anyways, you guys take it easy. It's Brian, I'm out.